Hopefully you guys had a great time doing your paper plane experiment yesterday. Today we need to remember that at the end of every experiment, we need to look at our data table and decide what the answer to our testable question is. And not only that, but we need to write it in a way that if people were reading it, they would know exactly what we did, why we did it, and what we would change in the future. So your notes package should be right out, so you guys can write down the 3 most important parts of a conclusion. The first thing you're going to do is summarize the purpose. So why did you do this experiment? What were you testing? The easiest way to do that is to make sure you include your testable question and then write about how you conducted it. So, for example, let's say I was testing to see how different types of fruit roll. Well, I'd first in my conclusion have to write, I tested how does the fruit type affect the distance. And then I'd have to talk about how I conducted it. So, first I took an orange, then I rolled it across the floor, and then I measured it. That first part of your conclusion is just telling the audience what you were testing and how you went about it. The second part is really the meat. That's when you summarize what actually happened. In science, we call that the result. There's 2 parts of that. The first part, restate the hypothesis. What did you think was going to happen, and then what actually happened? Secondly, answer your testable question. Which paper plane actually flew the furthest? Make sure you use data from your data table. The last thing you need to do in conclusion is always be thinking forward. Meaning, what would you do in the future? So, let's write that as our third part. And there's 2 parts to that. First, if you could change something or go back and do it again, was there anything you would change to make better? Secondly, now that you've done your paper plane experiment, what else could you test? Every experiment usually ends with more questions than answers. We always want to wonder something new based on your experiment. When you write your conclusion today, there will be sentence starters to help you think about those 3 parts. And I want to push you to remember to use full sentences. Always use data that's quantitative with numbers as often as you can. And finally, make sure you're thinking, what else does this make me wonder about that maybe I could test in the future? Good luck with your conclusion. Hopefully you had a great first week of Intersession.